Please join with us.
Azamra Elohai be'odi, Azamra Elohai be'odi, Ahalala, Ahalala, Azamra Elohai be'odi, Azamra Elohai be'odi, Azamra Elohai be'odi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
It's so good to be together tonight as we welcome Shabbat. This week we read from Parashat Vayera, the second portion in the book of Exodus. There we read about Moses as he prepares to face Pharaoh to deliver God's message that the people should be let go. I want to open services tonight with this Torah portion inspired poem by Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt. And God said to Moses, "Speak to Pharaoh and tell him to send the Israelites away. I will harden the chambers of his heart, and he will not see the sign of holiness upon your hand. For him power is close at hand. All he has to do is speak, and his people obey. By design, no one questions. To send his workers away would take heart he doesn't have to spare. Harden yourself against them. Harden your compassion. You are my hand in the world. I'll hold your heart in safekeeping as you speak truth to power, as you send this nation into turmoil, a sign of my disfavor. Bind me as a sign upon your arm. Learn to harden your eyes, your speech. Send locusts and lice, every hand scratching in agony. Speak to Pharaoh of freedom, your heart bursting to serve. Brave heart, take courage. I will be your sign. My voice emerges when you speak. For history's sake, I will harden his hearing and stay his hand. The world must know who it is I send, you, on this errand. I who send Israel out from here, every heart yearning to be free. Hand by hand, you'll build new signs of my mercy, but first, harden your tremulous voice and speak. Tell Pharaoh I send you as my sign. His heart cannot help but harden. My hand pulls your strings. Now speak." This passage of Torah can be challenging because as we read about Moses delivering God's plagues to Pharaoh, time and again we read about how God is the one who hardens Pharaoh's heart so that God can demonstrate great power before the Egyptians. As we enter into this Shabbat, I pray we do so with kind and caring open hearts, hearts that long to connect, to serve, hearts filled with caring. I pray we fight those forces that might seek to harden our own hearts. To light our Shabbat candles this evening, I'm honored to invite up Frank and Leslie Abrams, and the blessing can be found on page 2 of our prayer books.
Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us stay. Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We continue with L'chuna Ranana on page 12.
We turn to page 17, the last paragraph in the Hebrew Romemu.
Romemu
Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu le'hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu le'hakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu le'har kodsho. Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu le'har kodsho.
We turn to page 19 for the last two lines. Adonai Oz La'amo Yitain.
Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain Adonai Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitein Adonai, Yarech et Amo.
We will greet the Shabbat bride with the Chadodi on pages 20 and 21.
Ay, 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 lecha dodi. Ay, 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 likrat kala. Ay, ay, ay,
Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekavela.
Ay, 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 lecha dodi.
Ay, 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 likrat kala. Ay, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shem u'tiferet ve'alitila. Ayin alai lecha dodi, ayin alai likrat kala. Ayin alai pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha. Ve'rosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava techila. Yair alai, 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 Ayin alai likrat kala. Ayin alai pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Hit'oreri, hit'oreri, ki ba'orech kubi ori. Uri, uri, daber kevod Adonai alayik nigla. La 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 dodi, likrat kala.
Ay, 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 Pnei Shabbat.
Pnei Shabbat nekavela.
We greet the Sabbath bride with verse 9. If it is your custom, I invite you to rise and face the entrance as we greet Shabbat. Verse 9.
Boi
B'shalom
ateret
parla,
nam
besimcha
uvetzora
toch emunei am segula.
boi
Chala, boi chala.
ay 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 lecha dodi ay
Alai likrat kala, Ayin alai pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Ayin alai lecha dodi, Ayin alai likrat kala. Ayin alai pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat nekavela.
It might be your first time here or your millionth time here, but however many times you've been here, it's time to greet somebody, hopefully somebody new. So maybe you can find somebody even across the chapel, and you could stand up and walk over to them and introduce yourself. Wish somebody a Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, shy? I don't have the energy to get up the bima. I'll just whisper to anybody and talk. Hello? Changing it up with the Harari. You may. By the way, I sneezed 6 times before I left the house today, so I definitely have what you does.
Oh, seriously? You're right before Baltimore.
Hooray.
Do you feel any,
Nothing. All good. Look.
little
I feel like we got it's from Sadie, it's where they got the tickets.
Yeah?
Feels like it built some energy a little. Right? Got people moving?
Yeah, it's good.
This is good. We'll also say hi to anybody watching via live stream. Hopefully everybody got to greet somebody. Hopefully everybody got greeted. We'll turn now to 24 as you make your way back to your seats, and we'll welcome the Shabbat Angels with Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei
Elyon, Mihi Melech Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn to page 28. Please rise if you are able for Baruch Hu.
I think right before, after Micha Malcha, whatever. Do you have something else?
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 Yadadai-dai-dai.
Together on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other.
Adonai Tzevaot is your name.
Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המהרי ורבי.
Amen.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם
בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, באורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
שמע
ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated as we continue together on 36.
ואהבת את
אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך,
והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך,
וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
So in a moment we'll turn to page 40 and offer Micha Mocha. And Micha Mocha is the prayer of, on the one hand, it's the prayer of freedom. We cross the Reed Sea, but Micha Mocha is also not, the other side of the prayer for freedom is it's actually the prayer that reminds us of the founding story of anti-Semitism, that being the beginning of the book of Exodus. The Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph, we read about the Pharaoh last week, and there were 70 Jews who came to Egypt, and all of a sudden the Pharaoh was offering propaganda that we were going to be so great and so abundant we were going to overwhelm them. So Micha Mocha is a moment to celebrate our freedom, but it's also a moment to think about anti-Semitism, and for those of us who are nerds when it comes to Jewish prayer, it's striking how many moments in the prayer book actually point to stuff happening in our lives. So I just want to take this moment to think about several different aspects or anti-Semitism kind of moments throughout this past week. Or maybe these are moments, actually, I don't even know which direction that they point. Is it, we've arrived, we've made it, we don't have to be so scared, or not? I really don't know. You'll have your own thoughts about it. In these days of impeachment hearings, there was one little clip that, there's many things that are worth commenting on, but on this subject, Gordon Sondland sends a text message to President Zelensky right after President Zelensky of the Ukraine was elected, won the election, and it was about 3 sentences in total. And Gordon Sondland, we're good for you. You're doing great work. And the last line of the text goes, "Congratulations and what? Mazel tov." Nash for the whole world to see. The last 3 words, 4 words, congratulations and mazel tov. Why? Gordon Sondland's a Jew, and President Zelensky's a Jew. Have we made it or not? I don't know. Is it a moment of phew or oh my God? I don't know. As many of us, I hope all of us know, there's this extraordinary gathering in Jerusalem for the last couple days. Over 40 kings, princes, presidents, prime ministers, parliament speakers, and other dignitaries came to Israel and to Jerusalem. This very, really extraordinary gathering at Yad Vashem. Just share with you two very brief, I don't know what to make of them. The evangelical group that represents about 50 million people there to honor, acknowledge, mourn the Holocaust, the Shoah. They want to give the Friends of Zion Award to Vladimir Putin. I don't know if these are funny or celebrate tears of joy or tears of, I don't know. But the Friends of Zion Award goes to Vladimir Putin, who's come to Jerusalem to honor, mourn those murdered in the Holocaust. Last piece that I'll share with you. German President Steinmeier. My German is bad. Frank, how do you say it? Steinmeier, M-E-I-E-R. Anyway, he says the industrial mass murder of 6 million was the worst crime in humanity, and we Germans have not learned the lesson of the Holocaust. On the one hand, the head of state is acknowledging the horror, the unbelievable, unimaginable inhumanity. I'm leaving a question for you all to think about, but it's a moment in which we can think about Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha is a moment to celebrate our freedom, but before that freedom, or next to it, in front of it, behind it, in whatever direction we think, is also, it's important to think about as maybe the founding moment of human anti-Semitism. So let's all turn to page 40 for Micha Mocha. Sorry. I liked it, actually. I liked it. Mocha, Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Nedar Bakosh, Nohora, Tehilot, Hosef, Feleh, Nohora, Tehilot, Hosef Feleh, Malchutecha Ra'u Vanecha, Miriam Ze'eli, Anu Ve'amiru, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Vaed, Adonai
יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Amen.
Page 42.
השכיבנו
Adonai Eloheinu
לשלום, והעמידנו
Shomrenu
שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום,
Amidenu Shomrenu Shomrenu Lechaim Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim.
The top of page 44, Vishamru.
Shabbat, Gdolotam Berit Olam, Beini uvein Bnei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Shabbat vayinafash u'ayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash.
The Amidah begins on page 46. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufni yagid tehilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham v'Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Sarah v'Elohei Rivka v'Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el הגדול, הגיבור והנורא,
אל עליון
גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות,
ומביא
גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבם, מלך חוזר.
ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם,
בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב,
להושיע,
מושיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני
עפר.
מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה,
ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך
אתה אדוני
חיי
הכל.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים וקדושים
בכל יום יהללו חסלה.
ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך אתה
אדוני האל
הקדוש, האל
הקדוש.
We'll continue privately through page 62 of our prayer books. You may remain standing or be seated according to your custom.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yehiyu leratzon בפיי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
In a moment, we'll turn to page 253 to offer Mishaberach Lacholim, our prayer for those in need of healing. If you're thinking of someone this Shabbat in need of healing, we invite you to share their name with us as we come up the aisle.
Page 253. Please join with us.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Vaydaber Elohim el Moshe, and God spoke to Moses, Vayomer alav, saying to him, Ani Adonai, I am God. Ve'era, and I appeared, El Avraham, El Yitzchak, Ve'el Yaakov, to all your forefathers, Be'el Shaddai, by the name El Shaddai. Ushmi Adonai, Yud-He Vav-He, but my name Yud-He Vav-He, Lo Nodati Lahem, I didn't reveal that name to them. Lachen, therefore, say to the Israelite people, Ani Adonai v'hotzeti etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim. God, I'm going to take you out of this suffering that's going on in Egypt. V'hitzalti, and I'm going to deliver you from bondage. V'ga'alti, and I'm going to redeem you with that outstretched arm and through extraordinary chastisements. So what's So what's different about God's appearance this week? Vayera, the parsha that means I appeared. What's different than the God that has come before? It's a real question. His name, right? God's name. That's one difference. There's also something here that's going on about action. God's had some communication with patriarchs, matriarchs, maybe little bitty interventions. This is something big that's about to happen. Something covenantal. Something that has to do with transformation. Something that starts as one thing, even a people, and becomes something else. A word about magic. I grew up with my father doing magic tricks. He was really good. He had earned money as a young man, like working parties as a magician. And Mayor loves this line. You asked, Daddy, how did you do it? How did you do that trick? And the answer was always, very well. And even more delightful was watching my children take in his magic tricks. And then even, I think it was really our eldest, my son, who got to get a little magic training from his grandfather. And he was awarded at one point this beautiful wand, not something plastic. Maybe it was made in China, but it was like stained wood with a copper tip and kind of weighted beautifully, fairly expensive, Harry Potter-esque. And I actually went into the basement looking for it before the sermon. Couldn't find it. I'm sure it will emerge at some point, Dad. So magic brings me back to this week's parsha. Vayavo Moshe v'Aaron el Paro, and Moses and Aaron came before Pharaoh. Vayasu chen, and they did thus, ka'asher tziva Adonai, just as God had asked them. Vayishlach Aaron et matehu, and Aaron cast down his staff, his wand, if you will, in the presence of Pharaoh and his courtiers. Vayehi letanin, and it turned into a serpent. Ew. Vayikra gam paro lohachamim, and then Pharaoh called to all his wise men and his sorcerers, and they did the same with their spells. Vayishlechu ish matehu, each of them cast down their staffs, but Aaron's staff swallowed up theirs. But as we heard from Rabbi Milbaum, Pharaoh's heart was stiffened. Rabbi Pharaoh. Cool stuff this week. Lots of hocus pocus. But this is not the first time that we have seen this staff serpent trick. When was the last time we saw it? Just last week. Just last week. When Moses is standing there at the burning bush, and he says, Vahen, but what if they totally blow me off? What if the people blow me off when I go to tell them that there's this great God and freedom, etc.? And God says to him, Ma ze biyadecha? What's that you're holding? And Moses says, Mateh, it's my staff. Then God says, Hashlichehu arza, throw it to the ground. Vayhi lenachash, and it becomes a snake. So we're used to this trick. Moses gasps, of course, when this happens, takes the snake by the tail, though, according to God's command, and it turns back into a staff. So both this week and last week, we have this symbolism. Obviously, a snake is a very potent symbol. I'm remembering a story of my grandma Kate, my father's mother, a colorful character who probably paid for most of those magic lessons. And when she was given a gift of, I don't know if it was a brooch or a ring, but it had a snake. It was a snake. She threw it at the receiver. Snakes are scary. This is, of course, not the first snake that we're encountering in Torah. To get to the first one, we have to scroll back to Bereshit, right? There we are in the Garden of Eden. Everything is hunky-dory, perfect harmony, nature, God, human beings, and then bam, Nachash. From that moment forward, with the apple and the snake, we live in a world with discord, in which people are separated from each other. Adam blames Eve, Cain kills Abel. People are separated from God. There they are, shivering, hiding in the garden, and then expelled from it. The snake represents crookedness, disappointment, anger, shame, betrayal, fractures. I just noticed the red lanterns hanging along Middle Neck Road. Did anyone notice? We're getting to Chinese New Year. And I don't know what the animal is, but I think it... Oh. Okay. But it could be, I think it could be the year of the snake. So much crookedness, mistrust, betrayal, shame. Where do you see the snake when you look out into our world? Perhaps you see the Nachash and the moral disorientation of this impeachment saga and all it entails. Or maybe you see the snake in the threats to Roe v. Wade, signified by today's march in Washington and those who spoke there. I see the snake in the largest rollback of the Clean Water Act since it was passed in 1972. That happened just yesterday. Or in the opinion piece printed in the Palestinian Authority's daily newspaper, The New Life, distributed throughout the West Bank, urging readers to carry out murders in Jerusalem so as to halt ceremonies related to International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The snake is everywhere in a world of discord and violence and brokenness. Okay, but that's not our only symbol. We also got the staff. So back to this week's Parsha. God says to Moses, Lech el Paro, go to Pharaoh baboker, in the morning, because there are no jacuzzis in the palace. He has to go to the Nile to wash. And just as he's coming down to the Nile, God says to Moses, take your staff, that same one that I turned into a snake, and say to Pharaoh, Hine anochi makeh b'mateh asher biyadi. See, I'm going to strike with this rod that's in my hand the Nile River. Al hamayim asher bayor v'nehefchu ledam. And that water is going to turn, as we know, to blood. What's going on here? I mean, there's my dad's magic, but this is heavy duty. So I now channel the teachings of the late 19th century Polish rabbi, the Sfat Emet, we quote him often, offered by my teacher, Diane Bloomfield. Teaches the Sfat Emet, the snake represents a world gone awry. But if so, the staff represents transformation, the unexpected. Yes, it was a snake-like week, but we had a few abracadabra moments. So our son in Jerusalem said that he was told for his big exam yesterday, his math test, he should leave 2 hours to get to school. We don't live that far from his school. Why? Because as Mayor mentioned, in Jerusalem this week, there are visiting delegations representing nearly 50 countries. Kings of Spain and Belgium and Britain and the Netherlands and presidents of France and Russia and Italy and the Ukraine and Germany were among those in attendance. Lots of traffic jams, I can tell you. And these ceremonies culminated yesterday in Yad Vashem. The actual 50th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz will be observed, as it is each year, on the 27th of January, that's this Monday, in Auschwitz, where Rivlin will address the German Bundestag, I'm probably saying that wrong, in Hebrew. Hine anochi makeh b'mateh asher biyadi. See, I shall strike the water in the Nile with this staff that is in my hand, and it will be turned. Hebrew spoken aloud by Israel's president in Auschwitz. In this crooked and sinister world, we also stumble across magic and redemption. Yesterday, the Secretary General of the Muslim World League, Mohammed bin Abdul Karim Al Isa, a Mecca-based Saudi Arabian leader, brought with him a delegation of 62 Muslims, including 25 prominent religious leaders from some 28 countries, to Auschwitz. Organizers described the group as, quote, the most senior Islamic leadership delegation ever to visit the site of a Nazi German death camp. This Muslim delegation was joined by members of the AJC, a Jewish delegation which included children of Holocaust survivors. Said Al-Isa, quote, to be here among the children of Holocaust survivors and members of the Jewish and Islamic communities is both a sacred duty and a profound honor. At one point during the visit, the Muslim delegates took a moment for prayer, their heads pressed on the ground of Birkenau. The wood of Moses' staff is not the same as the wood in that Eitz Chaim, that tree of creation back in the Garden of Eden when everything was innocent. That was God created, that tree. Moses' staff is a human-created object, imperfect. But its power, its magic, if you will, comes from the fact that it connects Moshe and our people to each other, to our destiny, to our deepest prayers. Teaches the Sfat Emet. Chapter 5 of Brachot, Mishnah 1, says this: a person should stand up to pray, if he or she is able, only in a reverent state of mind. The Mishnah continues, even if a king should greet you in the middle of your prayers, don't stop. Even if a snake is wound around your heel, don't stop. This week's Parsha Va'era comes to remind us that indeed the world is treacherous, venomous, crooked like the snake. But we can be yashar, straight and honest like Moses' staff. We can rely on our very human hands as tools for change. We can remember the magic, the look in my children's eyes as my dad pulls an egg out of that towel. Va'era is about expecting the unexpected and keeping our eyes and our spirits tuned to heaven. Just this past week, thinking of the heavens, Russian astronauts Oleg Skripochka, maybe, and Alexander Svorskov took time out from their important work on the International Space Station to commemorate International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Each cosmonaut posed for a zero-gravity photo, holding up a sign, both in English and in Russian, "We remember." Мы помним, maybe, demonstrating solidarity against all forms of racism, xenophobia, and hate. May we hold fast to the staves that are ours to hold. May we refuse to relinquish our faith even when serpents grab at our ankles. And may we keep our eyes and souls attuned to possibilities. A snake turned to a staff, a Nile turned to blood, a beaten people to begin a freedom journey. May we remember names of God that have yet to be revealed, Va'era. And may we know humbly that there is much yet to still be revealed. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Let's rise and turn to page 282 for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח
אדון
לאדון
הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נטע שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אינו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 287 והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא
יהיה אדוני אחד
ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. As always, taking a moment for memory. If you hear the name of someone you've come to remember, please rise when you hear that name and remain standing. This week marks the passing of longtime member Merle Holstein and those who have died in the last 30 days. Shabtai Ben Yosef, Elliot Brownstein, David Harrison Dawn, Harold Kingsburg, William Koppelman, and Andrew Richmond. And the yard sites this week for Alan Abramowitz, Bertram Berger, Edith Brilloff, Francois Chapnick, Isaac Grebelkeys, Joan Harf, Alfred Capel, Bernard Kofsky, Samuel Levin, Ilya Levitas, Heather Popolizio, Milton Sirkin, Edward Steiner, Frida Fritzi Walder, Harriet Kupferberg, and Janet Landsberg. Any other names omitted or mispronounced? Levin. If it's your custom and you're able to do so, please rise for the Kaddish. 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye chon u'v'yomei chon, u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv yimru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'l'olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the one who creates harmony, peace, and healing on high bring that to all of us, to all Israel, to all humanity. We say one last time. Amen. You may be seated. So, announcements. If you haven't checked out our tribe website, please do. You got an email. This is the latest evolution of our small groups initiative. The website is still tweaking, but live and very functional, and provides a lot of opportunities if you're interested in becoming engaged in a small group of any sort. We're really eager to hear your ideas. Tomorrow morning, we have a special Shabbat, which means Torah study will begin at 9. Our tefillah, our prayer, will begin at 10. We have speaker Ellen Gottlieb speaking about enlightened parenting. It's going to be really wonderful with a very lively Q&A at the luncheon. So please plan to stay for lunch. So much going on. An amazing Shabbat coming up next Friday. Do you want to say a word?
Sure. Yeah, we're gonna the service is going to be in here. We're going to have a choir of over 60 voices on the bima. So please be here. It's going to be an absolutely not popular, but wonderful Shabbat, celebrating, of course, with Cantor Benji Allen Schiller, who is a friend, a mentor, a teacher, whose music we sing and will continue to sing here. And this is years in the making. I'm so excited that she's going to be joining us, and the Shirenu Choir of Long Island will be joining us. Come early, grab a seat. It'll be standing room only.
It's very exciting. Yay. Saturday night, comedy night, Havdalah 7:15. The doors will open at 7:30, then the show at 8:30. Come laugh with us.
That's next Saturday night.
That is next Saturday night, February 1st. Let's see, February 9th, quite a bit going on in the morning. The Brotherhood screening of Jean Renoir's Grand Illusion with speaker Dr. Kenneth Pearl. You can start eating bagels at 9:15, and the program will begin at 10. At 10:30, there's a Tu B'Shvat workshop. Make your tree pose. That will be with Sharon and I, 10:30 to 11:30 or so. Very excited. Later that afternoon of February 9th at 4 p.m., we're having an interfaith group come, various religious leaders across the faith to speak about stewardship of the planet. And I'm really excited. We have 5 amazing teens from our community who have been working really for months. They're going to do a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. A late afternoon Sunday event on the 9th.
And one Rabbi
5:30.
One Rabbi Tara has provided all of the vessel and the inspiration within which these amazing teens are able to shine in this really glorious way.
And they know how to work the technology. Yay. Thank you to our bakers, Ronit Pearl, Linda Diamond, Martha Hirsch, Cheryl Silverstein, Debbie Sutton, Donna Ganser, Aaron Romero, Karen Hirsch-Romero, and Chala from the Margalofs. And I didn't see who were our ushers tonight. Susan Heck and Martha.
Susan and Martha.
Okay, and
Thank you,
they're helping
Susan.
us
Thank you,
tomorrow
Martha.
as well.
One last comment, just in terms of tomorrow morning, little pop quiz. What's JFK stand for? Just for Kiddush. Very nice. Oh, you were going to give the real answer. JFK, right? John F. Kennedy. Okay, it's I'm sorry I tricked you, but as Tara's mom taught me a couple months ago, JFK, just for Kiddush. For some reason, you can't make it tomorrow morning for the whole service. Don't feel bad. The Kiddush and the Q&A with Ellen is going to be wonderful and worthy of itself. So.
Or drag yourself to services, and we don't know that you're just coming for the Kiddush, but you'll be there. Okay, we'll have Kiddush and Motzi downstairs.
Conclude with Azam. Thank you to Shai Kedmi on the piano, as always. We're going to conclude with the singing of Azam Ra, what we started with before. Azam Ra Lelohai Be'odi, this melody by Cantor Benji Allen Schiller, who will be here with us next week. I will sing with all my soul to God. Azam Ra Lelohai Be'odi.
Let's
Please
stand
join with
up.
us. Azam Ra
Elohai Be'odi, Azam Ra Elohai Be'odi, Ahalala, Ahalala, Azam Ra Elohai Be'odi, Azam Ra Elohai Be'odi, Azam Ra Elohai Elohai be'odi. Hallelujah. 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 Azamra lelohai be'odi. Azamra lelohai be'odi. Ahalala. Ahalala. Azamra lelohai be'odi. Azamra lelohai be'odi. Azamra lelohai be'odi. Ahalala. Ahalala. Azamra lelohai be'odi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Kiddush and
Shalom.
Motzi downstairs.